The main story is about for-profit colleges. Why is this particularly controversial when it comes to veterans?
Because veterans get GI Bill money, our tax dollars, to pay for their education, they become targets by these for-profit colleges who want that GI Bill money and recruit using high-pressure tactics and sometimes allegedly dishonest tactics to get the military vets to go to school there. And too often they end up, say critics, with no meaningful degree and sometimes in deep debt, even beyond what the GI Bill provided. They took out student loans because sometimes these educations are very expensive.
Did you get any sense of how big a problem this is?
It's widespread, and it bleeds beyond just the military troops. We're focusing on the troops, but there are millions of students who are getting educated through for-profit schools, many of which are under federal investigations or state attorneys' general investigations because of their practices. It's something that Congress has tried to address with many bills on Capitol Hill, but you can imagine the for-profit industry with so much money at stake has a lot of lobbyists on Capitol Hill. And at least in the view of one senator we spoke to, that's the reason why this problem has not been well addressed by Congress.
What about the Obama administration? Have they taken any stand on this?
Yes, separately from Congress, the Obama administration has moved not only to warn the troops about possible dishonest tactics, but also to crack down on some of these for-profit colleges with the most complaints. Separately, there are federal lawsuits going on, there are state actions going on, and some schools have even been warned not to accept new military students. One college recently shut down, has been told by a federal judge just this past week to pay back some of the student loan money. There's a lot going on in this field.
I would think that the veterans that you had a chance to talk to just feel really let down on both sides by this.
And I feel awful because I think too often we, without meaning to, use up the troops for what they're worth and then sort of chew them up and spit them out into civilian life. And the GI Bill was supposed to be the thing that we provide, one thing that helps them get on their feet and have a meaningful life after the service. And if they end up spending that money for something and spending years pursuing something that's not going to do them any good in the end and may even leave them in deep debt that they can never dig out of, we've just put a disservice on top of everything else. So it's important. Yeah,
very much so. All right, second story that you're working on for your program has to do with the medical exchanges for Obamacare. This is a sign-up period coming up next week. So what is it that you found out about the states that have these state-run exchanges?
These are called co-ops. They were nonprofits started with billions of our tax dollars, and they were intended to help provide competition under Obamacare so that there would be a lot of companies. Well, they're going belly up, one right after the other, dropping like flies. Another one announced bankruptcy this week. So more than 500,000 customers are going to be once again booted off of their insurance, looking for a new option. And we sent Scott Thuman, our reporter, to Nevada, where one of these co-ops has failed, to look at why that happened and what these customers are going to be doing. And analysts that we speak to think this does not bode well for the whole Obamacare system, even beyond the co-ops.
So it wouldn't be a matter of just substituting the federal exchanges?
They can go to the federal exchanges, but according to the analyst we trust the most because of his accuracy and projections, he's an industry analyst for the insurance industry, he says the Obamacare exchanges at large are suffering the same problems as the co-ops, but they're able to hide the fiscal problems a little longer because they're a more diversified business. The co-ops only sold Obamacare, but he thinks we're in for the same sort of trouble with Obamacare at large. But yes, in the short term, the people losing their insurance from the co-ops can go to the exchanges where we know premiums are rising, deductibles are rising, and unless you're eligible for subsidies, which many people are, but unless you're eligible for subsidies, you're probably going to be paying more.
To make sure I understand, that your reporting is finding that the problems of the co-ops may be just a precursor to problems with the state exchanges and or the federal exchanges.
Yes, that's what the analyst that we trust says and has repeatedly said since the start of this, that the business model is not working because for the insurance industry to survive, you have to have so many healthy people signing up to balance out for all the sick, expensive people, and they don't have that balance in Obamacare.
All right, Sharyl Attkisson, Full Measure with Sharyl Attkisson. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.